Hello and welcome to another interesting episode of Feminine Scope, where we discuss issues affecting women, celebrating their triumphs, that covers different spheres of life and seeking ways to solve their challenges. I am Amanda Ezekwe. According to the research carried out by the Food and Agriculture Organization, women produce more than 50% of the food grown in different countries. The role that women play vary from region to region and country to country. Women's contribution to household food production range from 30 to 80%. My guest has taken it a notch higher, not just growing, but processing and exporting our homegrown foods to other countries. You'll get to meet her after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Feminine Scope, and today we'll be discussing food processing and exporting, which comes with its various challenges. We hear of issues like power, cleanliness, and standards, even in the entire area of packaging. Recently, Nigeria announced its partnership with the United States in the area of exporting our African foods into their country. How easy or difficult is this process? Are there policies guiding this? We'll be discussing this with our guest for today, who is the CEO of Bunkasa Foods Limited, a food processing company that uses local content to create hygienic and innovative finished products that are fit for consumption. Her motivation for going into food processing and exporting stemmed from the fact that there was availability of raw materials around her and noticing the minimal representation of Nigerian foods in the international markets. Her name is Aishatu Aliyu. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Nice to be here.
Good to have you here.
I'm glad I'm here.
Honestly, I don't know how you do this for a woman to go into food processing and exporting. Tell us your story. How did this all start for you?
Okay, my name is Aishatu Aliyu. I am the CEO, founder, Bunkasa Foods Limited. Bunkasa is a food processing company that uses innovation to create local food content. We started production in 2016. Actually, what happened, I started with my star product, Maishanu, that is clarified butter, ghee. I was in a family gathering, and a sister of mine said she loves having clarified butter in her meal, but she doesn't like frying it because it has this strong aroma that permeates the air. So she would prefer a situation whereby she would just have it ready-made. And all of my sisters were like, yeah, me too, me too. As they were talking, I was like, okay, this is like a business avenue. I think I can venture into this. So I went back home. I have a neighbor that has a house help who is Fulani, because clarified butter, ghee, is actually gotten from the Fulani people. So I asked her, excuse me, I asked her maid, she's a Fulani lady. I told her, I said, how is the process of manshanu and how long does it take when you process it? She said, well, it takes a long time. She was giving me information. I said, all right, I want to try it as a business. And she laughed. She said, no, that wouldn't be a viable business, because she was talking to me from the point of view of her village. She said, in our village, everybody has it and everybody is frying it. It's not a problem. But because I know where I'm coming from the complaint I had, I just laughed. I said, don't worry, I will look into it. So within the next 3 weeks, I started researching on how to preserve it, how to prepare it, because it has, after it's gotten from the milk, we wash it and we fry it on a very high temperature before we package it. So I went through all that. Then I came out after like approximately a month. I came out with like let's say a prototype. Then I went to my sisters that were complaining about it and said, okay, this, I packaged it actually and I covered it. I said, this is my shanu that I want to introduce. how do you see it? They were like screaming, oh, thank God, is this a business? Thank God, finally, somebody is doing it, blah, blah. Anyway, so when I saw their level of excitement, I started thinking of, okay, how do I make it a business? So I started processing my corporate affairs certificate as my CAC. I went into I decided to do limited liability company. I did that. I got my packaging materials. I got my stickers. Then the next challenge was how to get the raw materials, because if I thought that if I would rely on the roadside sellers, I wouldn't make much profit. So I started digging on how to locate them in we call where they live Roga. In their location, they are mostly off population, they are into the bushes. So I had to get someone who would escort me to go there and get the raw materials in bulk. Then I made an arrangement with them whereby I would be getting the products on time. Then I went into the business. Actually, the first time I did everything, I packaged it. I came out with 24 bottles. I put it on my fridge. Then my kitchen, I will go in the bedroom, I will come out, I will look at it, I will see, nobody's buying. I will go in, it stayed on my fridge for 2 weeks. And I was just looking at it, I was like,
you were not marketing it?
I wasn't marketing, you know. I don't know. I was like, okay, I thought people would just, you know, well. Then one day, my neighbor, I had a very chatty neighbor. Then, so she came in, I was in the sitting room, and I said, oh, I want to go and cook. And she said, okay, let's go. She was just chatting, following me from the bedroom to the sitting room. Then we went to the kitchen. She said, what's this? I said, Manshanu. She said, this Manshanu, you packaged it and kept it here. You didn't even tell us. I said, okay, well, now I'm selling. She now picked one, she went home. So by evening, she now called me that her sister came and collected the money, and that, please, do I have? So within a week, Daniel, I will never forget her. She actually pushed my mention for me. And within a week, all her family members, all her clan, they bought it. So I sold it. So I was excited. From then, I picked it up. But the mistake I made was because I decided to go into food processing, I forgot about my humble beginning, which was my shadow. So I diverted. I now started producing beans flour, rice flour, spices, and other food stuff. Meanwhile, people were looking for it, but my mind was off it. I would just wake up in the morning with a new idea on another food content, then I would just jump to it. Meanwhile, this is my star, you know, my star product. So this is something I want to advise upcoming entrepreneurs. We need to take it easy. We need to really take it easy. If you start jumping from one thing to the other, you will be confused at the end of the day, and none of your product will be a star product. You will just be, for instance, somebody will buy this, and instead of you to use the money to grow it, you would use that money
to start another
thing that you're not sure whether it will be acceptable in the market. So it took me like 3 to 4 years before I understood that Manshanu is my calling. So after noticing it, I decided, okay, I want to go big. I want to sell it one by one. I want to take it to the supermarket, and I want to take it to Amazon. So what are the steps? I need to get my NAFDAC registration number first, and how do I get my NAFDAC registration number? You know, NAFDAC do have their requirements for food processing. You need to have a space
and all that. Before we go into the NAFDAC registration, when you now decided that, okay, this is my star product, how did you start before thinking of the NAFDAC registration? Because definitely when you started, when you got that light bulb moment that this is my star product, you now started producing.
Yeah.
Now, did you get machines to do it, or you continue doing it manually? Okay,
luckily for me, production of margarine does not need any complicated machine. The only thing it needs is a burner and a pot. So it doesn't need a dryer, sealing machine. The only thing maybe it needs is your heat gun, maybe to seal up the top of your product. So getting machine was not a challenge. And you know, the irony of it was that while my star product is very easy to produce, I was looking at the products that were very, very difficult, like beans flour. You know, I even did pumpkin flour. I needed a dryer. I need a milling machine. And I have to have this light 24/7. I need water to wash all this stuff. They were giving me so much headache. My star product is there, saying, I'm here, simple and easy. I wasn't looking at it. You know, so getting the machine for my beans flour, rice flour were giving me so much headache. I had to bring out all my savings to buy my dryer, food dryer, to buy my milling machine, to buy my hand sealer. You know, getting the equipment were not easy. As a startup, normally, you know, that was one of our challenges, getting equipment. You have to do it one at a time.
When you started Maishanu and decided that you wanted to grow it big, how were you able to source the raw materials? Because in the beginning, you mentioned you went into the bushes.
Yeah.
Now you started growing it big.
Yeah.
Was it just the Fulani lady you met, or she now took you into their settlement where you now discussed with them?
Yes, when she took me into their settlement, I made contact. So I told them that because it's not gotten immediately, they have to gather it for up to 3 days. So I told them I need this like once in a week. So they normally gather all the mansion they have in their possession and send it to me. So they became my personal suppliers. They became my suppliers. So I didn't have to go to meet them anymore. They just bring it to me through my neighbor's maid.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was your contact.
Yes,
from them.
She was my link.
Now, processing it, how easy was it? Because you now started doing in bulk. Yes, you didn't need so much machines and all that to do it. But wasn't it stressful? Did you have any staff that could assist you?
Yes, I had 3 staff. It wasn't stressful, honestly, because I had 3 staff and all it needed was water. Once you have water and wash it up, you pour it in your large pot and you cover it. That's all. You wait for it to fry for 1.5 hours. Then you sieve it, and you do all the remaining works and package it. It wasn't stressful because I had 3 staff.
Working in the food production business, now there's a research that says that 30 to 80% of food production is grown by women. Do you believe that? Is that true?
Yes, I do. Because from what I see on social media, almost I would tell you that, okay, let's not even go to social media. Let's say my WhatsApp group. Like 80% of the ladies on my WhatsApp group are selling one food processed item or the other. In fact, it became like I was like in an ocean where we are all scrambling for the same thing. The competition was just so high. At the end of the day, I just need to like divert. Sorry. So there are a lot of ladies producing pepper, spices, beans flour, rice flour, cassava. In fact, there are just too many. Yes, so I believe in that research. I think it's true.
This has to do with agriculture.
Yeah.
What is the role of the female in agriculture?
Well, I don't think they play much role compared to food processing. Okay. Females, I think, are more stronger when it comes to processing and packaging than agriculture, maybe farming in particular, maybe because of the hard work, even though there are women actually in agriculture, but their numbers are not as much as those in food processing.
Now, after processing food, there are challenges that people who do food processing face, especially when it comes to power, water. You work a lot with water.
Yes.
Then standards. How can you clarify this? Has government policies worked for you?
What kind of, if you say government policies, you mean what kind of
Like
policies?
in exportation, because we'll still come to that because you export too.
Yes.
So let's take it first.
Okay.
Power, how has power played a role in your business?
Well, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. Even if there is power, you know, the new meter system has been tampered with. So with a lot of money, you buy minimal unit, and before you drive for 30 minutes, your light is gone. So it's really pathetic. Most of the time, even with power, you still have just to have peace of mind. You have to fuel your gen and use your gen to power your dryer or your milling machine. So it's really pathetic. It's really pathetic.
Because, of course, in the society we are in, we provide everything for ourselves.
Exactly.
So when it comes to power, you've clarified that you have to do yourself.
Yes.
What of water?
Water, we have to do it ourselves too, because we have borehole, luckily for us. But I don't know those that don't have borehole, how they do. But for me, I do have a borehole, and I do have this thing that we put on the pipe, filter, sorry. Okay. So that is settled.
What were the challenges you faced when you started your business, and how were you able to solve it?
Okay, my major challenge was getting people to buy. And how did I solve it? I did that by just starting with aggressive marketing, shameless marketing, wherever I meet.
What do you mean by shameless marketing?
I mean, wherever I meet, wherever I'm like, okay, I sell my shine, do you need it? You know, that kind of thing, whether I know that person or not. I just had to talk about my business. That was how I arrested that situation, that challenge of the, that aspect. And then the other things were, I don't know, we're still coming to that, you know, getting government certification like NAFDAC. That's a huge challenge. My mouth is just eager to talk about.
Yes, we'll talk about that. So that's part of the challenges. So you can mention it. Okay. So that, because someone watching now would want to go into what you're doing or other area of food processing, and getting certified plays a major role.
Yes. How
did it start for you? How were you able to go through the process?
Okay.
And how did you get it?
All right. When I approached someone that has information about starting NAFDAC process, I was told that I needed to get a space. And the space has to have at least 5 subspace in it, with names like production room, changing room, processing room, storage room, and all that. I didn't have that kind of space, and I didn't know where to get that kind of space from. So in my process of research, I came across an organization, Nigerian Board for Technology Incubation Center. So that was in Kaduna State. So I went to their office and I asked them what they were all about, and they told me that I can apply for a space. If I apply for a space, no matter how small the space is, I can modify it to NAFDAC standard, because they work with NAFDAC and so on. So NAFDAC can come into that space, inspect it, and subsequently, when my product is fit, they can give me approval. So I was given a framework to work with, how to demarcate the space. I did all the requirements. Then I approached NAFDAC and told them, okay, I have a product I want to register. They said, okay, I have to bring my SOPs, I have to bring my CAC, my trademark, my fumigation certificates, food handlers test for my workers. Then I have to make sure that the place is well ventilated, number one, and I have mosquito nets for pets. You know, so many requirements. Those requirements were not met in a day. They were not met in a year or two. It took me a long time, because it involves money, and sometimes I have to wait till I sell my product. And sometimes the grants, you see grants, not everybody is lucky with grants. You apply for grants and you don't get it. And you know, the advice we get on not taking loans when you're starting business. Thank God I followed that, because at least I have peace of mind now. Well, so I went through all that till the stage where I have to submit my product. You know, when I submitted my product, the biggest challenge I had was with my labeling. My labeling didn't come out right because with NAFDAC, everything, they use a magnifying glass to check every single thing, and they will take you back once something is not done right. So I didn't get my labeling right at the first instance. It took me like 5 returns before I got my labeling. It was frustrating. Actually, it was at that time during the labeling I said I wasn't doing again. I said I wasn't doing
because
again.
Because of the stress.
Yes, I said I wasn't doing again. Then I packed everything. I said I can sell my product without NAFDAC. I packed everything and just kept it aside. That was in 2000 February actually. Then luckily, was it luckily or I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, this COVID happened and everything was just standstill. I said, oh well. Then late 2021, sorry. That spirit of entrepreneurship, you know, it just wakes you up and said, okay, you have enough rest, now get up. So it started again, then I said, okay, let me continue with this process. And now did the labeling and I took my product to to NAFDAC and they took it into the lab. In fact, at the first hit, my product came out negative.
How did you feel?
You know, I can't explain. I was so happy. I was so proud of myself that, okay, we did something that, you know, there is no blemish in it. That was a very exciting moment. So after the results came out, subsequently I got my number. I got relieved. I felt as if there was a huge, you know, something
burden has
dropped. Yeah. So those are the challenges I went through. It's as a small business owner, if you are not determined, there's something you can't keep up because it's emotionally and mentally draining. You will cry your heart out. You say, why am I doing this? You call yourself a failure. You know, you hate yourself, but then you wake up and you now see what you've done and you now continue. But it wasn't easy. Yeah.
Getting NAFDAC certified and, you know, going into exportation, how did export start for you?
Okay, getting NAFDAC certified is actually different from my exportation journey. Okay, I've been learning and hearing about, okay, my export idea started when I was in Cairo because we lived in Cairo for 5 years. I noticed that we have many African shops around that are in high demand of our product. But then I didn't take, it was something like I was like observing and saying, okay, this would be a good thing to import from Nigeria to Cairo. But then I didn't give it a headway. So when I came back to Nigeria, I went into my business. Then export sprang up from somewhere. I don't know where I saw then I now remembered that, okay, yes, people abroad really need our product. So I began to research more on exportation. I attended this masterclass on NEXA, Nigeria Export Academy, whereby they explain everything we need to know on exportation. Then realizing that export is actually a very, very big deal, I now decided to focus on mini exportation. You know, there are two different mini and major exportation. That is actually the angle where it's most important for small business owners who do not have all this certification, especially NAFDAC. So I now also realized that even without my product, I can export other brands like such as Indomie, Maggi, because there are African countries there that needs to eat. They need our Nigerian food. So I focused on mini exportation. I did a lot of research on mini exportation. Then I started with exporting dry fish. So mini exportation actually is not as cumbersome as major one. Yes, because this is exportation you do on a small scale, let's say 10 kg to 200 kg maximum, and naturally is carried out by air. not see. Within 24 to 48 hours, your goods have arrived their destination, and you don't need NAFDAC. So far, you haven't branded your product. If your products are not branded, you don't need NAFDAC. So there is a way you do it when you're trying to export something, let's say Zobo. You don't use your stickers as a company that do not have NAFDAC on that pouch. You export it on a plain pouch so that you do not have problem with customs at the airport or at the entry point. Once they see a branded company without the necessary certification, the goods will be confiscated. So it's very important when you are not sure of your brand having all these certificates, then it's better to export on a plain pouch so that it will look like the logistics company are the ones taking the goods for you, not you as a brand. So that is what we are engaged in.
But what are the challenges of exporting? Have there been any like episode where something you're exporting got bad?
For me, no, because I know what I export. I export things like hibiscus flower. Hibiscus flower, when it's well dried, it doesn't go bad. And dry fish, when dry fish is well dried, it goes bad. So it's very important when you're exporting. You have to be very careful on what to export. If it's a fresh produce or frozen, there are styrofoam boxes that you can use it. You can seal and use it for your export. You need to be very careful when sealing the pouches so that it doesn't have opening for pests to enter your products.
Most of the things you export. Now let's talk about the food. We'll come back to the exports. Let's talk about the food processing one. Most of the raw materials from the grains you produce or something, what do you use the finished product to do? Like the chaff you get out, do you still recycle it?
Okay, for instance, when I did my beans flour, we normally wash the beans, and the chaff we use it to feed household goats. You just put it for them and they eat it, that's all. So all the products are being used. There is no waste or contamination on the environment.
So it actually plays a huge role from every step of the process.
Well,
there's
definitely
always something to use it for.
Definitely. In fact, you actually use a stone to kill two birds. Instead of buying food for your domestic animals, you produce your food here and they use the remnants, they feed on it. So
how easy is it for someone who is into food processing to come across grants from government or even NGOs, especially for entrepreneurs? Because I know how difficult it is for them to access funds.
It's not really difficult. Why we think it's difficult is because we don't do our paperwork. If you have, before you start your business, you have to have a business plan. You must have you must go and you must register your business, and you must have a separate account. So these are basically the things grants organization asks for. So because most people don't have this in place already, they think it's difficult. It is when they are seeking for grants that they start running helter-skelter to look for this, which is not right. So if we get it right before takeoff, getting grants won't be easy. And if you know how to pitch your business, that is why before you start your business, you should know what you are into, your passion, your values, your vision, and your mission. So when you're pitching it, you would convince whoever it is that is giving you grant that, okay, you're fit for this amount they are set out to give. I don't think it's that difficult. Probably we should do more paperwork. We should work more on our business. You know, we tend to start, most of us tend to start business, like, you know, on a very lazy level. We just say, okay, we want to sell. We just start selling without thinking, writing, getting
do
all
your
the
feasibility
things,
study
and all that.
You know, we'll come to this, but you know, when we come back on a break,
Okay.
because we'll be going on a short break now. We've been discussing food processing and exports. Join us after the break. Stay tuned.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we will realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite.
This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
Welcome back. This is Feminine Scope. Before we went on a short break, we've been discussing food processing and exporting and how the entrepreneurs have been coping with the challenges of this. We still have our guest in the studio, Aishatu Aliyu, the CEO of Bunkasa Foods Limited. We're back.
Thank you so much.
What are the challenges you faced when you started your business? How did you solve it? And what is the future of your business?
My business?
Yes.
Okay. The first challenge I had was the rising and falling of food products, the raw materials. You know, when you finish your products, you package it, you sell it, the next day you go back to get your raw materials, the price has increased. So definitely the production cost will increase. So how to explain, constantly explain to my customers that the price is not the same from the last time I bought it was the biggest challenge. At times I just have to keep mute, but then subsequently I had to start explaining because we are in all this together. Even them knows that, okay, prices of goods are on the rise daily. That is one challenge, sorry. Then the next was production. Production was very hectic because of erratic power supply. We needed power to dry our grains. We needed power to mill. Most of the time we don't have it. We have to get someone to take it to the market, which was unhygienic. Sometimes you cringe when they are doing it in the market. It was really challenging. Then we had challenges of transportation. When we have customers that need our products that aren't based in the same location with us, sometimes our customers are in need of something that is not up to 10,000 naira, but by the time you include everything, the transportation alone is up to 10,000 naira or more than what they are they're buying, which is kind of discouraging. Transportation cost was a challenge. Erratic power supply was a challenge. Rise in prices of goods was a challenge. You know, those are the major challenges we faced.
You didn't face challenges with staff?
No, I didn't, because my staff were paid on wages. It is when I have work,
like
that
on contract basis?
Yes, I call them, I oversee them, they work and they go. They were not there all the time, so they didn't have challenges with them.
Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Oh, I see my Shanu in Walmart, USA, because actually, I'm not saying this for talking sake. I've actually started the process of getting my FDA license, so that, in fact, I wouldn't even reach 5 years, because from where I am now, in 2 years, my product, my branded product, will be on the shelf of international markets.
Generally, what do you think the government should do for entrepreneurs? Because they are having it difficult right now. What do you think that should be put in place by the government to make it easy for women who run the processing and exporting business?
A lot have been in place already. We just need awareness. We just need to tell the public that this is what the government is doing. A lot have been in place. For instance, this Board for Technology Incubation Center that is on ground, that is the organization that helped me get my NAFDAC number. And I'm very sure a lot of entrepreneurs don't know about it. It's a place whereby you are offered a space, like accommodation. They call it accommodation. And from there, you carry out your activity to the approval level of NAFDAC. So apart from that, government has grants they give up. They give up grants, mini grants.
But they don't make it open. Do they ask for people to request for it or what?
Yes, it's just that we need, like I said, we need awareness. It's on the open, you know, it's everywhere. You just need to research more as an entrepreneur. You can't just be doing your business on bed. You need to research. You need to be on Google. You need to ask questions. You need to go to places that, like, for instance, I'm always on my way to Nigeria Export Promotion Council to ask questions. And it is when you ask questions, you know that the government is actually trying. You just need to be aware of what the government is doing. So we need to ask questions. There are a lot of things on ground that...
What role has social media played in your business?
Oh, a lot. I would say like 70% of my customers are from social media. It has played a lot in my business. I get most of my inspiration, how I do my packaging, how I take picture, how I conduct most of my delivery guys. I got them from social media. My packaging material people, I got them from social media. So it has played a very, very huge role in my business.
When we're talking about the packaging, you know, I was shocked to find out that your product is made in Nigeria.
Okay.
Because of the packaging. What inspired you to package it that way, knowing that this is a very, in quote, local product?
Okay, what inspired me was my zeal to take my product on Amazon. I want it to be on Amazon, so I went there to research for clarified butter on Amazon. So I now noticed there's this particular product that has 15, we have like 5 different products of that brand of clarified butter on Amazon. Well, there's this particular one that has 15,000 ratings, as compared to others that have 1,000, 2,000. And I said, what are they doing? I looked at their packaging and I saw it was just a normal, bottle. So I took them as my competitors. And because I want to go on Amazon, I have to beat them somehow, like to upgrade my packaging. So I now decided that, because of their packaging, probably that is why they are the best sellers on Amazon. So what would I do to top that level. So that was my inspiration. I now went in and now started thinking, going, searching for, I even had business consultants too. I asked them because at a point I was conflicted. Something was telling me that you don't need to spend so much money on this packaging. Why are you spending so much money? And another mind was telling me that you have to do it. But when I sat down with my business consultant, they told me that if you want to compete, you have to put in your all. Your all. Do not leave anything on ground. So that was going by that advice. I decided that, okay, let's do this. So those are my inspiration, my research on Amazon, and the advice I got from my business consultants.
In your area of business, processing and exporting, does women supporting women work? Do you have mentors? Do you have mentees who follow you up?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I have a mentor actually that she has a logistic company. She was the one that took us through the practical level of export, and we export our product through her logistic company. She's been very, very helpful, and most of us, like 95% of us, are women. Yes, in that export group. So
there's no competition, instead there's collaboration.
There's collaboration, exactly.
Because most women don't help others to adjust their crown, but I tell them that there are women who support their fellow women, even though they are doing the same business, but they collaborate and they don't compete.
Exactly. Well, the group I am, we help. Our mentor has been very helpful, and because of her values, we tend to help each other because of where we're coming from.
There might be a young girl watching you right now who wants to go into the same business you're going into. What do you have to tell her? And what advice would you give her?
The same business, like exportation,
yes,
and food processing.
Food processing.
The advice I would want to give her is let her start whatever it is. Let her do her paperwork. Let her not start from the top. Let her start from registration, all her paperwork. Let her do her business plan. Let her do her feasibility study. Let her do her research. Let her read. They should read. They should gain knowledge on whatever it is they want to go through. Because at the end of the day, and they should make sure they have passion for it, because at the end of the day, the challenges that will come up, if they don't have a passion for it, they will leave it halfway. And if they do not have knowledge of what they are going through, or if they are not fully prepared, they will be confused along the way. So they should be fully prepared, and they should make sure they have passion for what it is they are going through.
We sincerely want to thank you for being our guest today on the show.
It's my pleasure.
And we pray and wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
It will be so wonderful seeing your products, you know, when you travel out, you're seeing it in Walmart, like you said, because
it will be.
Whatever you wish for will come to pass.
Exactly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our guest has been Aishatu Aliyu, the CEO of Bunkasa Foods Limited, a food processing company that uses local content to create hygienic and innovative finished products that are fit for consumption. Finally, processing and packaging Nigerian foods has its own enormous challenges. Driving from Enugu to Umuahia along the express, you'll see cashew plantations. Benue to Abuja, you'll see mangoes, all getting rotten. Most perishable foods get bad when they are being transported from the northern to the southern part of the country. How do we add value with the view of exporting them? Has the government been supportive in terms of giving grants and providing equipment for processing, or even making the process of getting certifications simple and easy? We believe this will encourage more women to go into food processing and exporting business. When you empower a woman, you have empowered the nation, because they are natural multipliers. That's the size of our program for today. Until next week, bye-bye.